Well, a new website is coming to the rescue of frustrated travelers dealing with delayed or canceled flights. This innovative platform helps passengers understand their rights and navigate the process of claiming refunds and compensation. With air travel disruptions on the rise, this service promises to be a game changer for those affected by unexpected travel issues. John Gradek joins me now. He is a lecturer at McGill University's Global Aviation Leadership Program, a regular on CJAD 800, and one of the rare guys that we have that actually has domain expertise in all of this. John, thank you for your time this morning.
David, it's a pleasure to be here with you this morning.
So, John, it seems how it's the norm, right? Strikes, weather, volume, and airline quasi-monopolies. I mean, cancellations and delays are now the rule, not the exception. What do you think about this app?
I think it's an interesting approach to trying to help passengers kind of understand what the application or how the application of these air passenger protection rights work. This is a very common website that you have in Europe. Mm-hmm. The EU has their famous passenger rights legislation been in place for about 20 years now. Mm-hmm. And one of the upshots of that one was really the evolution of this industry. Really, it's an industry that really is there to kind of help passengers, one, understand what their rights would be, but they would also go in there and get the money for you. And so they've been flourishing as an industry, and about 4 or 5 billion euros a year is being generated in the industry by having them chase down airlines that owe you money. So probably we'll see this website evolve into that process as well here.
The site is called La Paix d'Esprit par vol en retard. I mean, it's now, the name of the company is delayed flight. I mean, that's where we're at. I mean, it's like, it's no longer, this is a rare occurrence, this, that, the other thing. It's just now the rule. So your flight is going to be late, and here's what you need to know, what you can do, and here's how we can assist you in doing this. So I guess my question ultimately, I think this is great. Anything that helped the consumer, that's awesome. But it begs the question, is there anything on the horizon in terms of how the federal government is regulating this industry that can give us some hope that things will get better?
That's the question of the hour. Good question. And you saw what happened this weekend with 100,000 passengers who got disrupted by WestJet's little
little labor dispute.
Little dog and pony show they had with the mechanic union.
Right.
But it's the world of aviation is, as you know, chaos, and everybody's trying to outdo each other by having these fees or charges with the lowest fares associated with them. And the question you have to ask yourself, we deregulated the business back in 1986, 87. So this has been a 40-year, experiment with deregulation. And you have to ask yourself the question, have we reached close to the end, or maybe reached the end of deregulation and letting the market forces decide what's best for the consumer? This is an industry where you have competitors come and go pretty quickly. You're down to practically a duopoly in Canada. We're back to a concentration of service providers, and that does not bode very well when you talk about an open market competition, when you have only two people playing the game.
Of course.
So it's something that I think is called for. I think the Competition Bureau is doing a little market study on competition as we speak. However, that's going to take them about a year to figure that one out. Don't know why, long, but that's okay. Typical. But there is some talk about somehow, some way coming back and reorganizing how this business works.
My theory, and I have no data to back this up, so shoot it down if you need to. But John, if you could take a train and get from Montreal to Toronto in 2 hours, I think the airline industry would get much better. What do you think about that one?
I would think that the airline industry would shudder at that type of competition. Mm-hmm. They would shudder at regular competition if anybody in Canada has a product that's even 5 or 10% better the competition would, answer the phone rather than put you on a call center tape that lasts for hours and hours and hours. So there's a lot of work to be done in the Canadian aviation industry to basically up the ante when it comes to customer service. We've accepted mediocrity.
Yeah.
And, we need something to kind of push the mediocrity forward. I'm not sure whether a $30 billion investment in rail is going to fix the problem, but there are other ways and means to do it. But I agree with you. If I can do that trip in an hour, which can be done with technology today, by the way, on a train, that would really wake up the industry.
Moving on to Boeing, big news. They're buying Spirit. Now, Spirit, they're not buying an airline, right? It's a maintenance company that used to be part of Boeing?
It's a manufacturer of their fuselages for their airplanes.
Oh, it's a manufacturer. Okay, explain why this is important and how this fits into the whole rebuilding the image of Boeing.
Well, what Spirit is the offshoot of a decision made by Boeing about 20 years ago to a plant that they had in Wichita, Kansas, and a couple of smaller plants where they decided it's better for them to outsource it and to basically spin it off as a third party. It was their plant. This is built and, producing Boeing airplanes, fuselages. So guess what? A Canadian company bought that plant, a company called Onyx out of Toronto. And they spent, I think they paid Boeing somewhere in the range of about $1 billion for it. And then they spun it off for $3 billion about 4 or 5 years later. Make a long story short, the current problems that we had with that door panel coming off the airplane in January was kind of traced back somehow, some way. We haven't got the official report, but traced back to work being done by the Spirit plant in Wichita. So Boeing is saying we have to get control back on the quality and the workmanship of our Boeing airplanes. So the only way we can do that, as far as they're concerned, is to buy back this plant. And that's what they're doing. They're buying back the plant and paying the Spirit shareholders somewhere in the range of about $4 billion.
So actually, for maybe shoddy work, shareholders are getting getting money.
They're getting an out.
They're getting an out. That's fascinating.
A free pass to get out of the business.
Wow.
And Boeing picks up the accountability for quality at that plant. So Boeing's re-inheriting an old plant, albeit with probably more rookie staff than they had in the past, but they're back to where they were, back to the future. And
the shareholders get a bump. That's fascinating. Again, the logic of this industry always amazes me. So my last question, of course, John, I've asked you this before. Do you feel the fleet out there is safe?
Yes. And there was an interesting article in the New York Times, in fact, on the weekend, where they talked a bit about, what is it about aviation that says that it's safe? And I think that, the upshot of the article is really to say that, we fly a Boeing airplane every second of the day, and a Boeing airplane takes off. And we hear about turbulence as we saw this weekend. We see, airplanes running off runways when they land. We see, fiery crashes on the takeoff or landings. Those are very, very much the exception. And so the airline industry, the aviation industry, basically, it looks at each one of those incidents and makes sure that the airlines are aware of why those things happen and they take corrective action. So yes, these are mechanical pieces of equipment, as your car is and as your truck is. And, these pieces of mechanical equipment occasionally break down. And we basically have to fix them while they're, on the road or however they happen to be, wherever they happen to be. So this is another example, but the state of the mechanical systems on board these airplanes are phenomenal. And so, yes, they do break down. Yes, we have major incidents. But most times, like nearly all times, we manage to take off or land safely. So it is still the safest mode of transportation.
John, really appreciate your time and your insights as always.
David, it's a pleasure. Have a great day.
You too. John Gradek is the lecturer in the McGill University's Global Aviation Leadership Program. We're lucky to have him.